Good evening, and welcome to Chatting with Ms.V, live from Houston, Texas. Tonight, one of my subscribers, or several of my subscribers, have asked me to come on and talk about insurance and the benefits of having insurance. So, as you're coming in, I'm going to set it up because I have a subscriber and a guest tonight who's going to be on here talking about it with me, and her name is Sting. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes. Oh, Sting is on here. Okay, Sting, let me get you up on the panel then, baby. You came right in. Hold on, let me figure this out. You know, it takes me a minute because I don't do StreamYard that often. And see if I can get it figured out right at the first time. But as you can see, I'm already knocking myself out, so I better hurry up and get you up here, Sting. Let's see, what did I do? I think I went through settings. Yes. Um, Guests can stream this to their own destination. Guests can be viewed. Give me a minute, y'all. Let me figure all this. Okay. Hello to everybody coming in. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna get it sooner or later. Okay, it's not settings, stream info, private chat. So it must be guests. Invite guests. Okay, I think I got it here. Okay, hit that, copy that. And then I got to get out of that. And I got to go back into the chat and add it. Hold on, y'all. I should use it more often. I wouldn't have these problems, but I don't. So I do have a few issues. Okay, go to comments. I'm in the comments and I'm supposed to be able to just put it in the comments. But why don't I see the comments is the question. Okay, Latasha, I appreciate that. Sting is speaking to all of y'all and talking to y'all while Ms.V try to figure this out because, oh, I see it, post comment. There we go. And go to chat. Bam, I figured it out. Okay, now I want to post and put user. No, I don't want to do that. I want to start a comment. Okay, you got it, Sting? I got it there. And I start the comment. Okay, right there. There it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello to everybody coming in. So tonight, when Miss Thing enters, then we're going to talk about it. Can y'all see me at all? Because I'm sitting outside on the balcony. I guess I could put a little light on the subject. I really didn't want to come on live tonight because I got in so late, I didn't have time to do anything. Okay, Sting is in the studio. And there she is at the stage. Okay. Hey, Sting.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so we haven't rehearsed this. We just decided we were going to just come on because we've done this before and we did a pretty good job. So I think we're going to do a pretty good job tonight. So I don't even know um, what you're going to talk about? Are you going to talk about all of the insurance, different insurances like health insurance, car insurance, house insurance, or what is your commentary going to be on?
No, mine basically is going to be about life insurance. You know my situation that happened.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to start it off with just telling you a few things that I know about it, and then you can chime right on in. How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the simplest way to explain insurance? First of all, let's act like nobody really knows what insurance is. And I found that the simplest way to express it is it's just a way to manage your risk, whatever risk it is, whether you're talking about house insurance, automobile insurance, or life insurance. So when you buy insurance, you purchase protection against unexpected financial losses. The insurance company pays you or someone you choose if something bad happens to you. If you have to, um, okay, wait a minute. The insurance company pays you or someone you choose if something bad happens to you. If you have no insurance and an accident happens, you may be responsible for all of the related costs. And that's what we don't want to get caught up with any of them. So you're paying a small premium every month. And basically, what they do is they just lump everybody's premium together when they have to do a payout. And it depends on how much coverage you have is what you'll get paid. So that's basically what insurance is. You want to jump in, Sting?
Okay, and when it comes to life insurance, they have several different kinds, like the Guardian. Okay, there are many types of life insurance that can help protect your family, and they all fall into two main categories: term and permanent. Okay, while term life insurance, you get coverage for a defined length of time, say 10 years, and if you die during that 10 years, money is paid to your beneficiaries, but when the term is over, you must get, new coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Opposed to permanent life insurance. Well, let me go on my other page.
So basically, what you're saying, you have to outlive term insurance for it to do you any good. You have to not outlive it. In other words,
Yes,
if
ma'am. You
you
have to
live
die.
longer past the term, it cancels itself out. Am I
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. hmm And then it says, okay, but with the permanent life insurance, whole life and universal provides long life. Death insurance coverage will also include a cash value component that can help with many objectives, like helping to build your retirement, your nest egg, while providing protection for life. hmm On
Okay.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
that's the
I
difference.
understand the term insurance is only for what it says, a term, whether it be 20 years or 30 years. That's it.
Correct.
And then the permanent, the what was the other one? The permanent insurance?
The permanent life insurance.
Okay, the permanent life insurance is just what it says it is. It is permanent until whatever age.
To whatever age, and then once you pass away, whatever's left over, like they said, you can use it for other things.
Okay. So which is cheaper? Probably term, right?
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of people don't go with permanent, because term is cheaper. And then with the term, like they said, after the life of the policy, you can cash it in and get your
Right.
money, but then you would have to get additional insurance.
I get it. Okay. That makes
So
sense because you've already lost that policy because you cashed it in.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then it's
So
got the
basically, insurance is just a contract and it's represented by a policy in which a policyholder receives financial protection or reimbursement against losses from an insurance company. That's all it is.
Yes, ma'am. But
Okay.
it's the basic features of a life insurance policy, the different kinds of policies you can buy, including term life, whole life, universal life, final expenses. Like I have a brother, he went the final expenses route. He paid like $60 a month for years and years and years and years. But now all his final expenses are covered, so he don't have to worry about anything.
Okay. So he
Hmm.
was only concerned about what he said, final expenses, not necessarily leaving any life insurance over for the next generation or his family or whatever.
Yes, ma'am. Because see, he's not married. He don't have any children.
That makes sense then.
Hmm.
It's nobody really to leave it to unless he
Exact.
gets okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what else.
So I found something here that says what are the most important things to know about life insurance? And that is to make sure that your insurance company can cover you for all of the risks you are exposed to.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is general liability, bonding, property coverage, officer's liability, and accidental medical insurance. And you have to really educate yourself and sit down and talk with the insurance agents to find out what your basic needs are.
Exactly. Like for instance, with the health insurance, I just ran into this problem myself as fixing to turn 65.
Hmm.
So the health insurance that they put me in, I didn't apply for it or anything like that. And I was wondering how I got it. And they say I got it through the state ACP. And it doesn't cover my therapy sessions. So now I got to go back to the network and either try to find something in their network that'll cover uh my psychiatry, my therapy, or I have to drop that insurance altogether.
And that's another thing I think that people really, really need to educate themselves on this insurance because none of it is cheap. I don't care if it's house insurance, health insurance, or car insurance. It, it all carries a stiff penalty, especially as you aging. The older you get, the more it's going to cost you, especially
Exactly.
life insurance. It's
That's
based
why
on age.
yes, ma'am. And that's why it's very important to get into it early.
Right, when you're young,
Yes, ma'am.
and then hold on to that policy. And then
Exactly.
if it's not enough by the time you live over 50 years, you can always add to it. It'll be a little bit more expensive if you need to. Let's just say you didn't get but 20,000 in your younger years and you've outlived your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Now you headed towards 60. And you see with today's market and economy, inflation rate has gone up. You need an extra 50. Well, it still would be cheaper than you going out getting a whole 70,000 at this time.
Yes, ma'am. Because the way I have mine set up is I pay a regular price for $10,000,
Uh-huh.
but I have an extra $50,000 in case I pass away in an accident.
So you got accidental insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
I kept mine from the last company I worked with was Hertz out of DC, rental car, and it was only like $4 and something to keep the policy for 50,000. And I was like, I ain't giving this up. I'm leaving the company, but I'm gonna keep this policy.
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
Yeah. So that I just have them to automatically deduct it out of my account because if I gotta pay it, I'm gonna lose it.
Exactly. Hmm.
So the three most important insurance, most experts agree that life, health, long-term disability, and auto insurance are the four types of insurance you must have. Also, if you're working on a job and you're not working for yourself, they may offer you long-term disability as well as short-term disability. Now, where I work with the school system, I can really say they really have great insurance. They have Blue Cross Blue Shield for health, and they had long-term and short-term disability, which will help you have some money coming in versus not having anything at all.
Exactly.
And I think that was very good. So I took out everything last year. I dropped the health insurance this year because I was able to find a supplemental that went along with my Medicare. And as you're aging, these are things that are going to really come into play, people.
Yes,
Insurance.
ma'am. And that's the reason why I'm so vested now. Because, like I said, in a few weeks, I'll be 65. So that's the
Uh-huh.
reason why I started, doing all this research and stuff like that. Because, you've been there. Once you get close to it, they just start throwing stuff at you all types of ways. This
Yes.
insurance, that insurance, this
And they're going
Medicaid,
to
that
be
Medicaid.
calling your telephone left and right. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. I mean, I got calls from across the country this year. At first, I was just getting a lot of calls out of Maryland because apparently these people just work to get you covered. They don't care where they calling from. They just work around the country for the different insurance companies. So this
Yes,
year
ma'am.
I got calls from north, south, east, and west. And I'm like, I've already done that with Medicare. No, I cannot. They're trying to tell me that I can get food coverage and all this. But then when they answer the phone, they got to transfer you to somebody else. Now, y'all know I ain't got that kind of patience. And I just did that yesterday. And the people told me no. Why you think I'm going to turn around and listen to somebody else tell me no? Uh-uh. No.
Yes, ma'am. And then they also have a living insurance policy where you can draw off of your insurance while you're living.
And that's something I didn't realize until I was almost 65 years old. And for
Hmm.
those who are watching for the first time, I am 70. So I've been dealing with this for the last 5 years. And the policy Medicare will even change on you. So you have to really watch their coverage also. And you may have to go from one to another because there are different insurance companies you can go with. Like I started off with Cigna. This year I'm with Humana because it's more beneficial to me to be with Humana now that I injured my knee versus Cigna. I get more coverage.
Yes, ma'am. And it's new to me because I'm just not getting to that age. 65. So you've been dealing with it for 5 years, but now it's new to me.
Yeah, and
You know.
but trust me, it won't take you but 1 year and you'll figure it all out.
Okay.
Because you're gonna go through a whole lot of changes this year, trying to understand it and trying to figure out what your needs are. Once you get to what your needs are, like I had an insurance card with Medicare last year, and they call it a debit card where they give you $150 on the Cigna plan I had last year for any over the counter anything that I needed, whether it's pills or um I got a blood pressure cup. I got a pulse machine. I got a thermometer, all kind of little stuff like that. But I realized I don't need $150 worth of that stuff if I've already bought just about everything out there that I need in my house, even down to the seat that sits in the bathtub where you don't have to lower yourself down in the bathtub anymore. You can sit in the chair in the bathtub and still shower or bathe. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
I changed it when I went to Humana. They were only giving $50, and $50 is enough. How many band-aids are you going to buy? How many vitamin D, C's, A, B's, and all that? You don't need all of that because it's going to sit there and expire anyway. Everything has an expiration date on it.
Yes, ma'am. And then
So
that's
what
money
they
wasted.
so what they did, Humana, is put the $100 back into my Social Security check, which gave me money I could do anything with versus just having to spend that $150 with CVS every month. Because if you don't spend it, you lose it.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
does not carry over. So know that when you hit
Yes.
65 and they give you that card.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm learning. Like I said, they throwing everything at me, including the kitchen sink.
I, I've been there. You're correct. I'm trying to see if there's any questions or anybody saying anything in the chat. Um, Real Spills is saying she must have been long term. Wait a minute, let me go back up and see if I can find what she was saying. I believe she was saying that she had long term, short term, or something like that because somebody asked her if she dropped it and she said yes. Um, You dropped, okay, Latasha's saying you dropped the long term, short term. Real spill, I had both. I dropped them. I don't think I would have done that, JP, because if you go down and you don't have any other income, how are you going to pay your bills? Now, it's okay if you have, and I'm not being nosy and you don't have to answer that. You may have another income coming in or several incomes coming in. But I'm just saying, if you don't, you probably should have kept that because long term, short term didn't cost me at my age very much. I think I paid $12 for the long term, short term every month. So, I mean, that's goof off money to me. A lunch, that ain't even a lunch. I pay more than that for breakfast sometimes. So to me, it was better for me to do it, especially after I had the freak accident on the bus last year where Miss Diane fell into a pothole and all of a sudden I'm bone on my knee anyway. And now I'm having to deal with a knee problem for life. So if I have to go out again and I stay out past 10 days, because that's all they give me down there, I can go on into 12 weeks of long term and get paid. And then I think it's 6 or 8 weeks of short term. By then, that's a long time. That's almost 20 to 22 weeks out with pay. You're going to either be able to go back or not go back at that point.
Yes, ma'am. Hmm.
Latasha saying, I'm learning the real difference, coverage, real spill, also the coverage for my teenager. Yes, and children, you got to have something for them also. And if you're not on government assistance, you really need to know what your kid has. Now, when I was in school, and this may have been the same for some of y'all, we were able to take insurance through the schools. I'm not sure if they do that anymore. Do you remember that thing?
No, ma'am, I don't remember that.
We did in Louisiana. We had
I don't
insurance
think they.
policies.
I don't think they did that in Texas, but and then there's pet insurance. My sister has insurance on her Chihuahua.
And you can do that too. We had the cat I told y'all about in Baltimore, and we have medical where we could take him in, and it was very little copay, like $5 or $10 or something like that when we took him in. If he had to have a major surgery, it was basically like a human's insurance
Yes, ma'am, and
and a
that's
life
what people.
insurance.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just saying, and he had life insurance in case he passed away.
Yes, ma'am, and that's why it's important. No matter what kind of insurance is, I know people be like, "Oh, I need insurance for this. I need insurance for that. I need," but having it is better. Having it and not needing it is better than needing it and not having it.
And that's true. The only thing that I say you really have to watch is sometimes you can over insure yourself and you'll be paying out more premium than you'll ever get back, especially when it comes to life insurance. That's not for you. That's for someone else that you're leaving it behind too. So you
Yes,
you really
ma'am.
have to watch it when it comes to life insurance, not to over insure yourself where you get older and you're on a fixed income and you can't pay the premium and you don't want to lose it either.
Yes, ma'am, and that's the reason why I got mine the way I did. Just the regular 10,000, and then the few extra dollars for the 50,000 if I pass away in an accident. But then that 10,000 is enough for me because I'm being cremated.
Same here.
Hmm.
Same here. I don't care for a funeral, and I tell my sister all the time, don't put my hard working money in the ground. Take it and go enjoy it. Buy you something, or travel, or do something with it. But I'm not interested in this beautiful casket and buying me something beautiful to put me in and people standing over there. God, I don't want that. I would rather for y'all to have the money.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not,
And by the
go
time
ahead.
you open and close the grave, you could have been done cremated me for that little price right there, and I ain't even in the
Exactly.
ground.
That's true. That is very true. So employee coverage is often the best option, but if it's not available, you need to go out and obtain you some quotes from several providers because different agencies are going to charge different things and provide different benefits. So that's another thing. You're going to have to spend a little time and do a little homework while you out there on the market looking because
I will. Hmm.
it can get to be real pricey and unaffordable.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna shop around. Hmm.
So I also found too that insurance is a contract that transfers the risk, and like I told you, from the financial loss from an individual or a business to an insurance company. And when they pool that money together, like if you have an accident in a car, let's say all of us in the chat have insurance, and I go out, God forbid, and have an accident. Everybody who has paid into that insurance agency, that's where they pay me from, because they take the money that you're putting in every month and they invest the money so they can have money to pay for different things. But notice something. Whenever a storm comes in, I know you noticed this thing, the insurance goes up. Or if
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have a lot of major accidents one year versus another, all your automobile insurance, everybody's is going to go up. Not
And
just the
then,
people who had them.
yes, ma'am. And then my sister that live over near Tom Bass Park, she has to pay extra insurance because she live in a flood zone.
I had to pay in Texas City flood insurance. I had
Mm-hmm.
to pay property insurance,
Mm-hmm.
fire, and
Homeowners insurance. Mm-hmm.
every one of those. Yes. And that flood insurance had gotten pretty high living that close to Galveston. It started off around $1,200. And before I left that house down there, I was paying 2,400. It had doubled on me.
Yes, ma'am. It would
And
do that.
it's not like I moved, and it's not like the ocean moved, but the price moved up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Let me see. My insurance just went up, and it will again. Your homeowners, if you have a home, or even renters insurance, living in Florida, Louisiana, those Gulf Coast areas, and the storms come in, and they have to pay out all that money. Somebody got to take it up, and it's gonna be you, the loss, the damages.
Yes, ma'am. Because in these states, we have to have renters insurance. You cannot rent no place without it, not even an apartment.
That's true. That's very true. And that's in the contract when you sign them. That
Mm.
who do you want to have? You can go out. They have several they offer you, but then you can go out and get your own. But usually it's a little bit cheaper if you take it with the complex.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I did. I have their insurance, and I just combined it all in with my rent.
Right.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
So go ahead.
you cannot get anywhere this day and time without insurance. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes it's gonna be expensive. Sometimes you can find something that's reasonable. But like I said, I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
That's true because it's not worth the risk, because the risks are actually divided into three categories. You'll have personal risk that affect the income, earning power of your home. You'll have property risk. You have liability risk that covers losses resulting from social interactions. And I said social interactions versus saying, if somebody damages your property, if you get involved in an accident, I'm just going to call them social interactions. And I just don't see how anybody could be out there on the road driving in anything these days and not have some insurance with the price of the cars that you have out there,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
nobody what I'm trying to say is like when I had my accident and the lady backed into my car, they don't bondo and stuff anymore. They replace parts. So the whole hood, the whole fenders, the whole bumper, none of that is repaired anymore. That's why it costs so much to fix your car these days. Whereas before they would put that bondo on there and then they would paint over. Uh-uh.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's because they're not making the cars out of steel anymore like they used to back
Right.
in the old days where you could do that. Just sand it down, put that bundle on there and sand
Right.
it down and just paint over it. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. So everything has changed, and you gotta look at the changes. We don't live in that world that we used to live in. Like she's saying, cars are not made out of steel anymore. Mm-mm.
Okay, let me see what else I can say.
The literal meaning of insurance would be an assurance against an unforeseen and unfortunate loss. This means that if you encounter a less than normal event in your normal course of life and happen to incur a financial loss because of it, you can be compensated. That's basically all it is.
Yes, ma'am, because no matter what you do in life, you're going to always have accidents.
Correct. Then that's something else you need to understand about most insurances also. Most of them come with a deductible, except for life insurance. Okay. When you're talking about car insurance, especially, you are going to have a deductible and you got to make sure that you have enough coverage for the automobile that you're driving. In my case, I had full coverage on my car, but the person who hit me, I was going to go with her coverage at first, but she didn't have enough to repair my car. So I ended up going with mine instead because I didn't want a half done car.
Yes, ma'am.
My car was, I don't think I had made a year or I had just made a year. That's what it was when it got hit. And I'm like, I ain't planning on going get nothing no time soon. And I don't want to be riding around. And, once they're wrecked, you're going to have the little rattles. It's never going to be put back together exactly like it was when it came from the factory. And that's what I was trying to avoid.
Yes, ma'am. Because they say
No,
once you wreck a car, that's it. It's just gonna start breaking down.
from there, because the impact, for one thing, is tremendous. Depending on what hit you, God forbid if it's one of these trucks out here that hit you in a car with that big old bumper on there, that bumper can tear up a whole front end, the whole motor, everything.
Yes, ma'am. And then I want to speak a little bit on the renters insurance that I just found out. Now, you can go out and get your own insurance, which I'm gonna probably do in the next year if I decide to move from here and move closer to my daughter. Now,
Uh-huh.
the rental insurance that I have with my apartment complex, it only covers the apartment. It do not cover my possessions.
What?
Yes,
Oh
ma'am.
no.
Hmm.
I had to have it to cover my stuff. What if the thing catch on fire
And it's
and
only
all your
gonna cover,
stuff is just burned up?
and that's what it's gonna be, just burnt up.
Oh no. I got contents. They need the insurance on the building themselves. This is their building that you're living in. You don't own it. So I don't
And
get
yes,
that.
I don't get it either. But like I said, the only part that they pay for is the building itself. They don't pay for my possessions that I done bought and put in here with my
Well,
hard
you
earned
shouldn't
money.
even be paying for that because you need content insurance.
Like I said, I'm looking to all types of different insurances now, but like I said, I'm trying to take my time with the renters insurance because I don't think I'm gonna stay here another year. I'm trying to move closer to my daughter.
That makes sense as you age it.
Hmm.
It makes a lot of sense. You want to be around some family where it don't take forever for them to get to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And that
Because
was one reason I moved back here after my husband passed because I didn't have any family. I didn't really have a whole lot of friends in Baltimore. So I was like, I don't have a choice but to go back home.
yes, ma'am. Like I said, when I moved out here because she did live right down the street in Pearland. But then after that, she moved to Rocheron, and I live in Pasadena. That's a
That's a
ways.
distance. Yeah.
Yes, madam hmm.
And then also, for those of you who have homeowners insurance and car insurance, you can bundle a lot of times and save money. The more insurance coverage you have with different agencies, it'll be cheaper on you. Instead of having your car insurance in this place and your house insurance in that place. Say, for instance, you were with State Farm or Allstate. I'm just calling out some folks. Or Geico, any of those. You can
Progressive.
bundle your house insurance, Progressive. You can bundle your car insurance and maybe even life insurance if they carry it, you know, and put it all together in one and save you some money. And they'll discount it for you.
I don't know about the life insurance, but I know that recently Progressive have combined their car insurance and the other kind of insurances they have, and now they have renters insurance.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Well, I had everything with Geico. My sister was on Geico, and I didn't know who to get with when I came back here because we had always had State Farm when we were together. And when I was by myself, I'm like, okay, so it's just me, one car, not two cars or three cars anymore. So what's the cheapest way for me to go for my age on fixed income? And she told me right off the bat, she said, I have already went around to all of them. You'll get the best coverage and for your age and your income with Geico. And she didn't lie. Cause when I
Yeah,
called
that's
around, State Farm wanted 400 and some dollars a month for car insurance. And I was like, are you crazy? No, it ain't gonna roll like that, sugar.
oh yeah, I know that for a fact. 'Cause my sister is with Geico.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And then, well, like I was saying, you have to watch those deductibles too and make sure those deductibles are affordable. Because just because they pay off, let's say it was $20,000 worth of damage. If you have a $5,000 deductible, they ain't paying but 15. You got to come up with that five. That's how
Yeah,
that works.
yes, ma'am. Hmm.
So I'm trying to see, did y'all have any questions? Had you been looking in the chat, Miss V? That's the situation that I'm expecting right now with my vehicle. This is
Oh no,
Latasha.
ma'am, I'm not looking in the chat.
Okay, the young lady was a minor and she is under her father's liability insurance. Okay, so if that's all they have liability, you have to end up in a civil a lawsuit with her because liability is not going to cover your car, it covers theirs. Am I correct, Sting?
No, ma'am. Liability covers theirs and not the people that was driving.
Okay.
Liability will cover whoever they hit, but it won't cover. Like, say I hit you. Liability will cover you, but it won't cover me.
Okay, okay. So her father's liability insurance, so I'm responsible to pay the remainder. Oh, what that back again sounds like civil lawsuit to me.
Yeah, because it
That's what it sounds like to me.
sounds like they didn't have enough insurance to cover it.
Exactly.
Because liability is only going to cover so much.
That's true. They have a cap on it. Tajista is saying Latasha was the accident the minor's fault. Yes, Tajista, she first hit another vehicle in which was towed. Oh my goodness.
Oh
And
wow, that's
secondly,
double trouble.
hit my vehicle on the right side of the pole is what stopped her. Wow. She sounds like she must have been speeding to do that much damage too. To hit one car and total it and then hit a second car. If you were going slow, it wouldn't have done that much damage. Thank God that it wasn't fatal. I'm saying, Miss V,
Hmm.
it was a three-car collision. Oh wow, Latasha. My tenant insurance protects items I lost in my car or hotels. Also, if I lose luggage, versus okay, and that's what it should do. You got an extra policy on yours, like an addendum or something, if it covers stuff in the hotel as well as in the car.
Yeah, that's some good
Okay,
insurance.
it's very good. Now you got to remember, she lives in Canada too.
Yeah, and I think it's cheaper than the United States.
I think everything that medical and all the most of the insurances are probably cheaper there. I think we discussed that one time before because a lot of things with medical are free. Well,
Oh
we have to
yeah,
pay
she
out the
did say
yang.
that. That's right. She did say
Uh
that.
huh.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yes, she was rushing to cross the median. Uh. Wow. Never pays the rush at anything. If you're late, you're just late. At least you'll get that safe and you won't have taken anybody's life. I'm going back up to see if y'all had anything to say. Miss V, that's okay. I read that one. I was seeing if y'all had any questions or anything y'all wanted to comment on. I was reading from an individual owner. Go back up to the top. My husband has insurance on himself. If anything happens to him, I have enough money to pay our house off in full and live for at least 2 years without working. And through his job, he has another one. And that's a blessing, living for Jesus. Y'all have really gotten y'all's business taken care of, it sounds like. I have that too, Miss V, the green card. What's the green? Oh, that's what you were talking about this morning, the green card. Is that what you talking about, Sting? The green card
Who?
for. JP is saying she has the green card. Green
Well, yeah,
card
I
for
don't know if it's the same, but in Texas, it's the gold card.
okay. I'm not sure what the green card is. The green card for royalty, Miss B. I'm
Mm.
lost. Yes, shop around, says JP. My insurance just went up, back up to the top. I had that long term. We talked about that. I'm doing good, Carl. I just ate. Okay, says Latasha. Mr. Strickland is in the building. Hello to everybody I didn't speak to. Hey, Carla. Hey, Naptown. Um, if is it anybody in the house that works in insurance that would like to come up? Hey, Kelvin, how you doing? Okay, I think I got everybody's comment up there. Let me see what else. You have anything else you want to add, Sting?
No, ma'am. All I want to say is like my whole point about coming up here is like no matter what kind it is, no matter what you can afford, just please get you some insurance. Take it from me,
Okay.
especially life insurance.
Okay, I found something I wanted to tell them the fundamentals of insurance. In insurance, there are 7 basic principles that should be upheld. One is insurable interest. That's saying no more than what you have is insured. That's it. Utmost good faith, a plausible cause, indemnity, subrogation, and a contribution and a loss of minimalization. That's what you want when you're looking for insurance is to save as much money as you can, get the most coverage you can, and shop around like JP was saying to find it because every last one of them are going to charge you a different thing. When I was looking for car insurance, I must have called up at least 5 or 6 of them. And it went anywhere from $130 a month to almost $500 a month for the same amount of coverage. And it depended on who I called. And I had never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought that. But it happened.
Yes, ma'am. Like right here, it says how to choose the right insurance policy. It says no matter what kind of policy you get, make sure you get it from an experienced insurer that's financially strong.
Okay. That is absolutely true. I found something on the HMOs and the PPOs because a lot of people don't know the difference and they just jump in one. I had to make a change this year also because the one I had was not insuring me if I went outside of the state of Texas. I don't want no insurance like that and I get hurt in Oklahoma, Missouri, or wherever. And I got to go into the hospital and I got to pay almost full price because I'm not covered. No, 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 no. So an HMO might make sense if you're looking for lower costs, or most important, and if you don't mind using a PCP to manage your care. But that wasn't for me. A PPO may be better if you already have a doctor or medical team that you want to keep, but doesn't belong to your plan. And it may be a little bit higher, but you got to look at the benefits of it. Are you young? Are you healthy? Are you not moving around? Are you not traveling? What are you doing? It may be beneficial if you just old and you just gonna sit here and you're not gonna move out the state. But in my case, I don't know what I'm doing from day to day and I'm always out there in a car all day long. I'm on a bus from 45 in the morning until around 6 o'clock. When I'm not in on the bus on those 4 hours, I'm in my car rolling around. So my chances of having an accident are much greater than somebody who's sitting at home all day long. So that coverage is very important. The car insurance as well as my medical care.
Yes, ma'am.
And if
Mm-hmm.
your premium is not paid, we all know what's going to happen then. They're going to cancel you. quick,
Yes,
fast,
ma'am.
and in a hurry.
Exactly.
And if you got that policy, whatever policy it is, and you got it, say 10, 15 years ago, don't expect to pay that same thing if you have to go and get another one. Because the rates are going to be different and the premiums are going to be much higher. Okay,
Exactly,
let me
because
go.
after a certain amount of years, they don't even charge you interest anymore, you know. But like you said, if you let that say you had an insurance policy for 50 years and it's done got to where they're not charging you all the interest and stuff like that, especially if it's a permanent and you done reached a certain amount of money and then you drop the ball and they have to that's all that money you done lost.
Correct. To just is saying here in Canada, if you have bad credit insurance, ask for a whole year insurance payment up front. I've never even heard of that myself.
No, I've never heard of asking for a whole year insurance up front.
Uh-uh. And I do know that they do things different because I remember talking to Jista about this months ago, and she was telling me about how different the insurance coverages are because she's lived here in the state for a while also, so she can really compare the difference. And it seems like they have much better health care. I don't know too much about their auto or their life, but for when it comes to health care, they definitely have better plans.
Hmm. And then it says, now that you know the basics, it's time to talk things over with someone who can help you decide exactly what type of life insurance is right for you, as you would expect. They will That will depend on your age, your financial institution, your family status, and a host of other factors. A broker or financial professional can help you determine which type of policy should consider.
Okay. So, what type of insurance should you always have? You should always have homeowners insurance if you own a home, renter's insurance it for your contents in your home in case of a fire or water. You want them replaced. You're not going to go back out there and buy what you've already had, especially if you bought Duncan Fights. Okay. And that was when you were up and you were working and you paid $20,000 for your bedroom suit on a fixed income. You're probably not going to be able to go out there unless you take money out your savings plan. And that's something you don't want to do either. But
Exactly.
you obviously cherished it and loved it to spend that kind of money. So you want it replaced. And you already know that they are not going to, they're going to depreciate almost everything. Your car, when you drive it off the lot, it will depreciate thousands of dollars.
Yes, ma'am. Time
So,
you drive it off that lot.
so in most cases, once you get out of that new car fever and you can find one out there that maybe was a loaner car, a demo or whatever, and it has maybe 500 to 1,000 miles on it, the depreciation is already gone off of that car. So you're not losing money, nor are you losing depreciation on the car because whoever's been driving that car, say the loaner cars that you go when you put your car into the shop and then when they put them out on the lot to sell them, that's a better buy than to go up there and get a brand new one and you take that hit. Somebody else has already taken that hit.
Yes, ma'am. And also with the certified used cars.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's just the information out there. I'm not trying to tell you how to spend your money because I don't know what you got to spend and it ain't none of my business. I'm just giving you some information that'll save you some money in the long run with everything doubling and tripling by the day as we continue to live out here. Nothing costs the same as it did in the 90s.
That
Nothing.
is so true. That is
Much
so
less the
true.
80s. The 80s was a good life. I mean, we all were, if you were like 50s and 60s, then you were young then. And we were footloose and fancy free, making plenty money every year. It was $200,000 coming into my household every year. And rental property. all of the extra stuff you got with money coming in. So money was never no big deal. But you got to think about that day when you get to be where I am. Are you still going to be able to afford the lifestyle that you want to live? So you have to start looking at all of that right now and trying to put back something for that rainy day because it's
It,
coming.
exactly. And then to be able to be like you and I can go
Right.
and work if I want to, but I don't want to right now because I just retired, so I want to enjoy it for a little bit.
Was thing,
But
I sit down for 8 out of the 10 years when I first left here. I got up and went to work the last 2 years when I was living in the Catonsville area for my Social Security. I wanted to bump it up and I needed, I think they told me 4 quarters. But anyway, it ended up being 2 years. So I went to the airline and the airport, 1 year with the airline, 1 year with the airport, and got my Social Security up there where I wanted it to be. Thank God I did, not knowing it. I wouldn't be with him. He would be gone. I didn't know the man was going to pass away. I thought we would live forever until we just got old and one left other. But it didn't happen that way. So I
yes,
thank
ma'am.
God that I was smart enough to go out there and get an education and get a job and make the kind of money I did to have the retirement I have and to have paid into Social Security in order to draw it now. Because that's a big portion of my income right there. The
Yes,
biggest
ma'am.
portion is those two things. And without that, and just having a common job, I listen to so many of the people down at the bus barns every day. They want to retire, but they can't because when they started off, they weren't making any money. Bus drivers was making, I think that lady told me she was in the Friendswood area and she started off with $12 an hour. This is 20 some years ago. I have a friend who's been driving 50 years and she drove for three different school systems. But when she started off, she was only making $10 an hour. No, she's not making that now, but they didn't take very much retirement out of that, is what I'm saying, because she wasn't making very much.
Yes, ma'am. Because the more they take out, the more you get back. But if they not hardly taking anything out, then that could be a problem.
She's gonna get, you know, maybe 1,000 over here from one system. In Texas, what they're gonna do is they're gonna lump it all together from her Texas City driving, her Dickinson driving, and I don't know, it was some other company that took over and she drove for them. But it's been a total of 50 years. She's 71, I believe. And she doesn't ever see that she'll retire. And if she retires, she'll have to get something else because it's not going to be enough because of the cost of living that has rose while her salary wasn't rising.
Hmm.
So, she was saying, well, my house is paid for. I'm not going to worry about it. If I have to, I can get, you know, 300,000, whatever the house will sell for. And I have money, but then I just have to go into a senior living or an apartment and live, where at least I have some money in the bank instead of trying to live off of this retirement because it's not going to be enough. Miss Diane was going to leave last year, and when she checked, her check was only going to be 1,800 a month. She changed her mind, came back. She got to work some more years to build that retirement up,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
go find something else to do. Now she's 57 years old, so she's pushing into that 60s. And that's what I tell people. When you're in your 40s, you can't be messing around and goofing off money. That's the time when you really need to start looking at things. Because by the time you get into your 50s, you better try to have your game plan together with all of the different insurances and your retirement and whatever else you got coming in. You're gonna have to move in with your children or your sister. You have to move in with somebody to survive. That's
And
the only way you're gonna be able to do it.
in this day and time, they need to start even earlier.
Mm-hmm. I started that way because so many of the people that were older when I went to Amico to work, They sit down and they talk to me and they told me, we got a 401k. They matching you dollar for dollar. Don't be a fool. If you can't put but $200 in their paycheck or $100 in their paycheck, just let's say you only put $100, you're going to get 200. They matching it dollar for dollar. That'll add up quick. At the time, they were letting us put 6% in there. So I listened to them. I had a husband that was working and it was more than enough money coming in. Thank God I put the 66% in there. And it really didn't hurt me because I never brought it home. So I never missed it. From the get, I didn't bring it home.
Exactly. Because once they take it out your check and they give it to you, you don't miss it.
No,
You
because
know?
you never had it to bring home to miss it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to think smart, people, and prepare for living your what 4 score and 10 and beyond. I've reached my 4 score and 10. Now I'm going beyond, hopefully, but I still don't want to be at the mercy of nobody. And I don't worked all this time, and um, not knowing how I'm gonna make it from day to day, or if I got to supplement, decide whether I want to buy my medicine or decide if I'm gonna eat. That's a cold blooded feeling when you don't worked all your life. So
Yes,
just
ma'am.
don't
No, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go.
And I feel sorry for the people that I be seeing, like on TV and stuff like that, and in that situation to where they have to decide whether they're going to eat for the month or get their medication, and that is so sad.
Yes, it is. Hi, Princess Strickland. How you doing? Patty is in the building tonight, and she says, in this day and time, people are not working 20 and 30 years at one job. They're not. They move around too much for me. It just really, I can't believe it. I can see you moving around if it's a better job, making more money with better benefits. Or if you happen to be in an area and you move to another area and it's a different job. I see that. But just walking in one job, it's like a revolving door on these jobs. How you gonna build up anything on these jobs when you're not staying there long enough?
Exactly, because you and we are used to working jobs. Like I said, I managed a McDonald's for over 25 years.
Exactly. And I know people down at the Walmart in Texas City who made a career out of working for Walmart and moved up to manager. But what made them have money to retire, like before they were 65, that stock plan, they got into that Walmart stock early on. And baby, they sitting on a million now.
I can
And
believe
just
that.
was a
Mhm.
manager in Walmart. That's what they did for a living.
Because when you work for these fast food restaurants, you can buy into their stock also.
Exactly. So people don't look at what kind of job it is. Look at the benefits of the job. And I don't think that's what this younger generation is looking at. Because I was just telling Tasha's son the other day, he's taking these contract jobs and he's running from pillar to post. Yeah, he making the money, but you don't have no benefits. That's why they paying you so much money, because they ain't got to buy your benefits for you. Okay. And then the other thing is there's no stability in your life. You don't own a home. You're not trying to buy one. You're not doing that. Hopefully you're putting this money up. And at what point do you stop with these contract jobs? One minute you out there in Montana, the next minute you over here in Idaho, the next minute you down in West Texas. I
Mhm.
don't get it, but like I told her, that's his life. And if you
And th-
sit him down and you've explained to him that he needs some stability in his life and some benefits in his life, and that ain't what he want to do, oh well. And as
but
long
what
as
they
you allow him to be in your home for free, why should he go anywhere? He ain't got no house note. He ain't got no bills. None.
No, ma'am. Before my last son left home and got married, because he didn't leave home till he was 33. He worked at Kroger's. He had bills.
And I think that's a good thing because it makes you responsible. My mother did that to one of my brothers, the baby brother that passed away that I took care of that had the kidney problem. He was there until he was 30. But when my mama slapped them bills on him, this your utility bills. I'm not washing your clothes anymore. You're gonna wash them. You're gonna put your clothes in the laundry. And all of a sudden, he got up and he got him his own place. He went and got him a house.
That's what they do. Cause like you 33 years old. I'm not gonna get in here and cook for you and all this kind of stuff. So he went and got him a wife.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, the wife came with next. He went and got the house first, and then the wife came next. But that's sometimes you got to do that tough love stuff. Let me go back up here. Yes, to just a mess. My car is in the collision shop. Oh wow. They'd probably been better off if they had totaled it out and just gave you the money for whatever the car was worth. Latasha, her father's insurance will go higher now. They might drop him because she's young. A lot of times they'll pay off and drop you too. Um, in Canada, if you have bad credit insurance, ask for a whole. Oh, I read all of that. Okay, let me go on down. I was at Caddy. Living for Jesus. My husband works 2 jobs so I can be a stay-at-home mom. And that's wonderful. And that's a great relationship that you were able to stay there with your kids while they're small, because those are the formative years. And if anytime they're going to need you, they're going to need you now, as they growing into teenagers and into adults. And I think it's a bond there for life once you do that. You're sacrificing for them, but it's going to all work out. In this day and time, latchkey kids, I really don't promote that. Everything is too dangerous. People are watching everything, cameras on everything. I don't want nobody watching nobody's kid going in and out the house, turning the key. I don't like that. Do you think some people don't get life insurance because they don't understand how it works or they view life insurance as an additional burden? Both. What you think, Steve?
Yeah, both. I think
Because
both. Yeah, because
some
if they
people
would,
don't understand it and how it works and what it's all about. And then other people may think it's a burden because I just really can't afford that. I got to pay this and I got to pay that. That's just an extra bill. And
but
it's
they don't.
okay if they don't have anybody to leave it to. It's okay. But if you have children and you have a wife, what are they gonna do when you gone? What if she can't afford to pay all the bills you have? She got to downsize. She got to sell up a whole bunch of stuff just to live.
And
Living
then
for
it's
Jesus said, go
yeah.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to read her comment. He's Living for Jesus said, he said, my job is to raise and guide our children and teach them about the Lord. Baby, you got a good one. God, thank God for him. That's what you better do. Okay, sing.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. I started reading that comment and I didn't know you were coming on to say something. You may think of it. Did I miss any more comments? And I spoke to you, Princess Strickland. But basically, that's what we came on to talk about tonight. We're not going to hold y'all out here a long time. We came out here because I know Miss Audrey was one of the ones, and I didn't see in the chat tonight, but she'll catch the replay, that wanted to talk about insurance and see if y'all had any questions that maybe we couldn't answer, but I know plenty of insurance agents I could call and come back with the answer. Or I could Google it and research it for you. That I could do. But I think the most important part of this presentation tonight with Sting and I is to educate yourself on insurance. Don't be without, and find something that is beneficial to you for your needs more so than anything else. Don't worry about what the neighbor's paying and how big her house is and what she got and all that, because it might not be the same as yours. You don't know what her content is in her house and what is valued at. So value your content and how much money you would need to replace it if it's gone. Look at your car. Look at the age of your car. Um, Figure out how much coverage you need, and especially if you are in an accident and are at fault. You want to have enough to cover you and that other person. When it
Exactly.
when it
Hmm.
comes to medical, um, we're coming up with a lot of things that people never had before. I mean, where did COVID come from? We ain't never heard of that before, but it's here. Okay. Um, it's leaving some residuals behind, from what I understand. Thank God I've never had it to date, okay? But it could happen. But I do take the vaccines. A lot of people say they don't take them, but I don't take a chance. I work with little children every day who's snotting and sneezing, and you don't know the difference between it and the flu till you go get tested. So it does older people worse too, because our organs and everything about us is older, it's aging. We're not gonna bounce back as fast. So I just don't take that chance. And it's a new strand out there now. So I did not have the vaccine for it. So a couple of weeks ago, I went up there to CVS and sit down and took it also. And I will be taking the flu over this 3-day weekend, the flu shot. So, and that's basically what I'm saying. Just make sure you have enough coverage where you don't have to worry about getting well and worrying about bills. Because really, nobody has a whole lot they can offer you like in the past. Oh, I can send you a couple of $100. Baby, you don't know what you're gonna need that couple of $100 for now. The world is moving so fast and things are going on that never happened before. So just be mindful of that. And that's basically what I had to come out here and talk to y'all about, was insurance and the different coverages, and answer anything I could. And Sting helped with the research, and she put in her little pieces. And we're gonna call it a good night if nobody has anything else to say. Let's see. Living for Jesus, he said. Okay, I read that. I think that is the last one. So I appreciate everyone coming in tonight. Hit the like button for me on the way out. Share if you can. Sting, you want to tell them good night?
Good night, y'all. I'll see y'all in the chat. Maybe in the morning. If not, tomorrow evening.
Sting is not a
Bye.
morning person, so y'all may not see her in the chat, but she always catch the replay, and I really appreciate that. So y'all have a wonderful, awesome night, and we'll see each other tomorrow. How about that? Good night, all. Hope you've enjoyed it.